Today on the channel, all the way from Australia in Junkshop Dog, we've got the Popey-inspired Terry Funk and the Road Warriors.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for something different here today, as today we're looking at the Popey-inspired Junkshop Dog line of action figures, and today we got two of my favorites of all time, as you guys know. We've got the Road Warriors, and we've got Terry Funk, and you can get these, of course, via Junkshop Dog. Go to his Instagram page, his Twitter page, anything like that. You can get his links, all that kind of fun stuff, as he is selling those and a whole lot more. Of course, Bruiser Brody, we got on the channel way back in the day. I pick and choose from this line, but you guys know, what do I like? I like face paint, I like blood, I like Terry Funk. So I was all in day one pre-order on these. LOD figures, man, you know, count me in all day long, twice on Sunday. Terry Funk, same thing. Had to pick these up. By no means am I a completionist. I would love to be, but there's only so many finances to go around, as we all know. But very cool. Of course, these are inspired by the Popey figures of the late 70s, at least early 80s, and a lot of people say the first wrestling figures of all time. Of course, released in Japan, had Hulk Hogan, had the Terry Funk, had a lot of them. Dory Funk Sr., or not Sr., Dory Funk Jr., don't forget old Dory Funk Jr., he had a Popey among a bunch of other guys. Abdullah the Butcher, I could go on and on. Very cool, as we see nostalgia is a real thing. We're seeing retros, we're seeing ECW OSFTMs coming back, LJNs. All the action figures that were old are once again new again, coming out with new lines, and Junkshop Dog jumped in there where there was a gap, and he filled that gap, and there's a lot of longtime Popey fans. Obviously, the Popey's very expensive, very hard to get. I remember somebody offered me 5 years ago the set for, I forget, it was like $8,000, which just seemed ridiculous. Now that would be a steal. So very hard to get figures. But very cool if you're into that line to get these ones all these years later. Very cool. And one thing we're going to do is we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We'll take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. Now, these are cool too, because honestly, for me, these are better on card than loose. These aren't glamorous action figures. These aren't going to be Mattel Elites. They're not going to be Storm Collectibles. It's just not what they are. It's not what they aspire to be from the beginning. These are a love letter to the past with cool packaging that just brings you back to simpler times, as one might say, and where the imagination had to be used a heck of a lot more. But the cool thing is these can be taken off card but then put back on, as they have a slipcase cover that goes back, and we'll talk about that here in a second. We're going to, of course, start with Terry Funk, and we're going to start with the regular edition. I don't really need to unbox this variant one. We'll have some glamour shots of it, but it's the same figure with just some blood on his face. That is the difference between the two. Let's look at the basic Terry Funk, I guess we'll call it for lack of better terms. Very cool packaging, very in-your-face, I want to say 70s, early 80s Japanese style. That's kind of how you saw in the magazines from Japan, advertisements from Japan, stuff like that. Very cool in your face. Got a nice glamour shot of Terry Funk. There he is up top as well. Now, this isn't ECW Terry Funk. This is old school 80s, 70s NWA Terry Funk is what we're getting right here. Very plain Jane, very basic. Not that he wasn't over the hill or over the top on his outfits and stuff, really, for the most part. But this is pre-even WWF run back in the day. Very cool. First retirement style for Terry Funk, really. But very cool packaging. The pink really does pop and everything. But then the back is where things get really interesting, and it brings me back to being a kid, even here in America, obviously where I'm from, going to the grocery store with my grandma, as there's nothing on the back. And that's how a lot of toys were back in the days. Obviously, you had great file cards like G.I. Joe, things like that. But you go to a drugstore, a dollar store, a grocery store, tons of toys back then had nothing on the back. There was nothing. There was no cross-sell, nothing about it. And that's what this kind of reminds me of a little bit. So I do think that is kind of fun. But of course, you just slide this backing out. Obviously, you want to be careful with this card. It's a decent thick stock. It's not like normal paper. It's not like heavy cardboard. It's somewhere in between. But very cool there how that looks. I like that a whole lot. And then you pull that out, and then you pull Terry out, and you got him right here, and he is in the plastic prison. So we'll pull him out of this plastic prison. Now I'm saving all this packaging, obviously. And this is the first time I've ever held one of these Popeys. I've never opened the Bruiser Brody one. But very cool, and I love that it's got that shine to it. I don't know how to explain it, but a shine. We see it with the Hasbro. Zombie Sailor found out the mix of the plastic colors and paints and things like that to get that shine. We got that Popey shine going on right here as well. It looks really, really nice. Now, is this articulated? I talked about that earlier. It's not like Mattel, but you do have articulation. The arms go up, of course, straight armed. No head, no waist, no legs, just arms. That's all you get there. Now, I can see people displaying this. Heck, I wouldn't mind having a couple of more of these to display loose as well. But it looks really good for what it is, and that's the thing. This is a love letter to the past. You can't compare this to Mattel. You can't compare this to Jakks, but it has its own specialness to it, like a lot of these different lines that are coming back. Hasbro style, they're not all the bells and whistles either, but there's nostalgia factor, there's a coolness factor, and that's how it is, and I do like that for what it is right here. I don't know if I could tell you this is Terry Funk without you saying it's Terry Funk. That's one thing, but we see that with a lot of lines back in the day. It was all about your imagination. You imagine being a little kid playing with these back in the day. Guess what? It happened. But you do get the red trunks for Terry. You get those very Japan-style knee braces going on there that he wore. The high socks, which was a great look back in the day, of course. The black boots with the white shoelaces and then the red accents there. He does got two-tape fist. He is ready to throw down like any Terry Funk would be for any match ever. And then you got a little bit in between his long hair days, a little bit short still. Of course, he did get longer hair as he got a little bit older. On the back, into the sculpt, we got some Japanese writing that I can't read, and then you got the Junkshop dog logo. Very cool, all about branding at the end of the day. No peg holes in the feet, so you're not going to be able to put him on a stand or anything like that, but he does stand up very, very easily on his own. And like I said, there was a variant edition. I believe that is sold out. Don't quote me on that, but it's a bloody version of Terry Funk, and you know I had to pick that up as well. Not a ton of differences, but enough to be dangerous. I'm in for that one, and then there you go. I was in for that one. Now we turn our attention to the Road Warriors, the old Legion of Doom, another favorite of mine. Pretty different, of course, than the Funk style is the Legion of Doom Road Warrior style. Now this is Road Warriors' early version of Japan, really butt-kicking version of the Road Warriors. Coming out to Black Sabbath, of course, just what a time to be alive is exactly what that is. And we got Hawk, and we got, of course, the Animal as well. We're going to start with Animal here. Very cool up top, looks very dangerous. Looks like somebody that's going to like a punk show or an early heavy metal show is what that glamour shot looks like. Very similar karting, of course, to Terry Funk, as you can imagine. Very, very cool. Plain Jane, of course, black tights, big upper body, and then you get the head on the old Popey there. I'm going to pull him out of the package now, put this off to the side, pop him out, and he popped right out. So I guess we don't need to do a plastic prison with all these. But once again, you get the Junkshop dog logo on the back. You get Warriors on the side of the trunks or tights. Very, very cool, very nostalgic. Really reminds me of this Hawk and Animal, reminds me of the cover basically of that early WCW game for the original Nintendo. That's what I always kind of think of when I think of this. No spikes with these guys though. No accessories with the Popies back in the day. No accessories with these. All day long though, I'm going to know this is Animal. And you can't really miss Animal by the face paint and of course the crazy mohawked hair with the big long rat tail at the end. You can't miss that. Same articulation as Terry Funk as well. All black going on here for the Animal. Looks really good though. I'm here for him. Might as well pull out Hawk real quick. We'll show the packaging on Hawk and then we'll pull him out. And there's Hawk. Once again, very cool up top. There he is with his tongue out. I always say I'm not a big fan of tongue out action figures, but guys like Hawk, he makes it work all day long. So good for Hawk there. Looks really, really good. Pull him out and bam, we're off to the races. His mouth is closed on his figure here, but boy, these are cool. And even different skin tones on the two. So that is an interesting thing to note. Besides that, the bodies seem to be the exact same. The lower body is the exact same as you can imagine. But different heads, obviously different guys, so different heads. So we got that right there. Let's see how well they stand. They stand perfectly. I thought I'd grab some Mattels just for a size comparison here. You can see that size difference. These are more akin to your G.I. Joe scale or your brand new McFarlane Superpowers if you're into that kind of scaling. This is one of the most underrated Legion of Doom set of all time, is the Battle Pack Hawk and Animal here. Very cool, very iconic, and gear they did wear in Japan and, of course, WCW in the blue. We can kind of compare those guys right there like that. And then Terry Funk, we got to always compare some Terry Funks. Anytime I get some Terry Funk figures out, you guys know I'm into that. And we do have his Mattel, so you can kind of see the size difference between those. And then we love Bloody Terry Funk, so I got the 1 of 100 Jakks Classic Superstars loose version of the 1/100 Terry Funk right there. Very, very cool Toy Fair exclusive back in the day. Can't believe I own a loose one and a mint on card one. I'm just an absolute maniac. What can I say? But very, very cool. These poppies here, very cool if you're a Hawk and Animal and Terry Funk fan for sure. Now, I can see, like I said earlier, these aren't for everybody. This is a niche of a collector unit, but very cool representation. Like I said, I'd love to be all in and get every single one of these figures, but I'm picking and choosing. Like I said, I got Bruiser Brody, I got both Terry Funks, I got the Legion of Doom. We'll see where I go from there. I'm sure I'll dabble in some more, and we'll talk about it when that does happen on the channel. But if you are looking for these, check out Junkshop Dog. Check him out on Twitter. Check him out on Instagram. You'll find the links to his site. You can pick those up and tell him Kyle sent you. There you go. Why not? So Terry Funk, Legion of Doom, Road Warriors here. What are your thoughts on these? Did you ever own the Popies? I don't think most of us in America ever did. And by the time we started to, they were very, very expensive. But if you're a foreign traveler or you're from Japan and things like that, maybe you grew up on the Popies. Who knows? But let me know your thoughts on those. Let me know if you picked these up. Let me know if you got any of the other ones out there. Let me know if they're for you or not for you. You can always tell me that as well. And make sure you like this video. You made it that far. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the old notification bell. As you guys know, we got videos every single day. Check out the Patreon for bonus content, exclusive content, all kinds of good stuff over there on the Patreon. And, of course, the monthly giveaways. And, once again, best of all, that is your best way to support the channel. And you can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget about social media. Follow me on over there for all the comings and goings and happenings as they happen over at SirPaul64 on Twitter and Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for some Popey action today, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.